To say that the Force works in mysterious ways is to admit one's ignorance. For any mystery can be solved through the application of knowledge and unrelenting effort.
Welcome to Monad of Creation, Episode 22, Discipline. Today's topic is an all-encompassing, applicable in any situation, any worldview, any perspective topic. Discipline seems to be lost from the majority of beings on planet Earth. Wherever you want to call this place, whatever you want to call this place, it doesn't matter. For what it's worth, most people listening probably would agree that discipline, potent discipline based in unconditional love, unrelenting effort, and true care is about null and void from this reality system. And as I've said in the Telegram, as I've said on the Instagram stories, going forward the episodes will be more applicable in terms of how to integrate, how to embody virtues, principles, and disciplines. Attributes of eternal evolution, immutable truth, based in unconditional love. Today's topic, discipline, however, is applied to any perspective, no matter how putrid and self-serving it is, no matter how neutral the perspective is, no matter how pure and eternal the perspective is. Discipline is what creates actual movement in reality, actual things manifesting, happening, and operating, whether it's good or bad. Discipline creates rich manifestations, rich. Not pure and potent necessarily, but rich. There's substance. There's some sort of substance within beings who have discipline, and their creations have some sort of substance. So, this topic applies to all reality. It is objective. And even though we don't get into too much of the external manifestations, the external dramas, the external nonsense of reality here, even though we don't do that, all the topics are what generate what is, all that is. We are all monads of creation. Each and every sentient and non-sentient piece of all creation is a monad of their creations, their own experience, their own manifestations. So when we have individuations of the eternal, ineffable, unutterable source of all reality, when we have individuated consciousnesses, no matter what form they take, they're all creating. So when you're creating, when you're generating things, This is so all-encompassing. It doesn't matter what the topic is. When you're creating and you desire a rich creation, something of substance, something that at least is cared for by something, someone, right? Something that is, from your perspective, surely good. I don't know how in alignment with yourself and eternal truth you are, but I promise you, discipline is something you will want to at least observe and learn about, and hopefully, if you want a pure existence, embody and practice. So, what are the attributes of discipline? What is discipline? Well, of course, I could whip out a dictionary and just read about it, and then go from there and break down from the definition. But an application from everything you've heard on this podcast, or if this is your first time, from practical application, discipline really is the quality of action. And the quality of action is dependent on how hard, how well, how focused, how potently someone acts on their endeavors. So, this is a really roundabout way in describing what discipline practically is. But discipline is, for what it's worth, how hard you try at things you do, how well you practice, how you better your craft, how you evolve your craft, how you evolve yourself, how you remember yourself. So, attributes of discipline: focus, effort, effectivity, care, self-awareness, eternal awareness, internal awareness. So, what do you care about? This is the first thing that I truly think anyone needs to ask themselves when they say, I'm disciplined in this. I'm disciplined in baking. I'm disciplined in a martial art. I'm disciplined in Dark Souls 1 video game challenge running. I'm disciplined in painting. I'm disciplined in meditation. I'm disciplined in stillness. Whatever it is. The being who says they're disciplined in something typically cares about the thing they're disciplined in, or claim to be disciplined in. So care, once again, care comes into this picture. And care does not imply eternal or finite consciousness, good or bad things. Surely not holy or evil. It doesn't imply any of that. Care simply is what the monad of the vehicle, the being, the consciousness residing in whatever individuated unit they're in, whatever that being cares about, they're going to act upon, they're going to think about, they're going to at least observe it. So, what do you care about when you say you're disciplined in something? Care strengthens passion. So, what you care about and how much you care about it, how potent your care is for it, will strengthen your passion. Passion, for all it's worth, passion is the feeling component. You feel it. It is the generative principle within this structure of discipline. Care is more aligned with the knowledge and knowing you care about something. But the care, what you care about, strengthens your passion, the feeling. And the feeling of passion fuels the effort. And effort leads to victory. Is the victory you're seeking pure, or is it a rotting pleasure? Is what you care about pure, or is it a rotting pleasure? Believe it or not, beings all the time get away with either rotting pleasures or pure victories. And whether or not the being accomplishes their goals depends on their effort, their disciplines, how effective they are at what they do. So, with discipline, it's good to know what you care about, to know how what you care about makes you feel. And if your feeling is in alignment, if you're not in alignment with truly how you feel, the passion won't be there. The passion won't fuel the effort nearly as well. The quality of effort is dependent on focus. How well are you paying attention to what it is you're doing, to what your behavior is, to what the frequencies you're running are? Are you focused? How is your concentration? A lack of concentration, a lack of focus, surely a lack of paying attention will diminish your effort. And focus is, indicative of knowledge. The more you focus on something, either the more you know about it already, or the more you're willing to know about it, and you will become more knowledgeable of what you're focusing on. So the focus bleeds into and aids, it assists competence. But once again, from the focus to the competence, there's the integration. It has to be able to flow from focusing and stepping into actual trial and error. Whatever it is you're working on, an observation, continual awareness of all, the outsider's perspective, almost as if you're outside of your physicality. You're always integrated, you are in your body, trust me. And it is a good thing. But it's this awareness of how well what you're learning and paying attention to and learning and feeling is bleeding and assisting into your skill, your competence. And so the competence how apt are you at the thing you're trying? How apt are you? How able are you at doing this thing? If you're not so skillful in what you're doing, retrace your steps. Figure out, is what I'm doing surely worth it? Worth my time and attention? Surely is what I'm doing being focused on to the fullest, to the best of my ability, to the best that I can? Motive. If you can't figure out why the competence, why your skill is not developing, the agenda, the motive, the why, ultimately why, this will shine light on if you're truly in alignment with what it is you're trying to be disciplined in, what it is you're trying to do, you know? What it ultimately is that you're trying to succeed in. Your pure victory, hopefully. Once again, hopefully. I don't know. I don't care what others are doing. The motive and your agenda. Why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I trying this thing? Why am I trying X, Y thing? Whatever it is. If the competence and the skill is not there, and you are focusing very well, holistically, with holistic intelligence, and passionate effort based in care for what you're doing, if those all line up, the motive is probably something you want to do at the very least. Something you want to do at the very least. Something you want to do in the now moment at the very least. In the present now moment at least. It's something you want to do. Zero implications of good or bad, holy or evil, finite or eternal. Zero implications there. Simply, if the focus, competence, passion, and care are all working and operating, your why is probably something you want to do. If the competence is lacking and the focus is lacking, well, the passion and care is probably misplaced. And that probably means why? Why isn't this working out? Why isn't this generating the results I want? It's probably because your motive, your agenda, is not something in alignment with yourself. It's not in alignment with you. It's not in alignment with your destiny. It's not in alignment with your path. Maybe. Perhaps. I don't know. So if the process thus far in figuring out the care, fleshing out the passion, holistically implementing effort with focus, and the competence is there, the motive is probably something you want to do. The competence and the discipline is not there. Something happened. Something's disharmonic. Something is not in alignment. I'm not here to answer that, this transmission. I'm not here to do the work for you. I'm here for perspective, which I believe is based in eternal truths, eternal laws, if you will, eternal structures of reality. So care, passion, effort, focus, which is based in knowledge, competence, which is based in skill, and motive, which is ultimately indicative of an agenda. So is the agenda something you want to do? Truly, ask yourself. Truly. Ask yourself, is what you're doing something you want to do? There is zero dogma involved in the effort. There is zero doctrine involved in the care. There is zero rigidity involved in the focus. Zero rigidity in the concentration. Zero rigidity in paying attention. Well, with discipline, of course, coming into this episode, most people, I will make an educated guess, know what discipline is. It's a very talked about topic in self-help, self-mastery, philosophy, spirituality, whatever. Discipline is even a component within the more calcified and quote-unquote dead, sure, consciousnesses, That's why many of them can get away with what they want to do, accomplish what their will is aligned with. What is your willpower truly in alignment with? Where do you place your will? Is it ultimately stepping into altruism or self-serving? That surely doesn't matter. Surprise, surprise. What matters in terms of discipline, in terms of yielding results that you want to see, what matters is focus and competence, effort, care, and passion. And the key in not getting what you want, not manifesting your future desires, not controlling others, the key in pure victory, I will give some personal perspective on the keys and ultimately the formula, the equation that I have observed, learned, and integrated in pure victories, is knowing that each individuated being is nothing yet everything, individual yet one with all, flowing yet decisive, immersed in the ever-mutating co-resonant disharmonic creation. So, knowing you are nothing yet everything, what does that mean? Knowing that you're individual yet one with all. Well, you are an individuated aspect of reality. You are one, you are single, you are you. You are yourself. Respecting yourself, checking yourself, enjoying yourself ultimately aids in the flow and wise choosing. The receptive flow and the wise choices. It's so easy to get rigid on the path of self-remembrance, whatever you want to call it, self-mastery, living, staying alive, existing holistically, just simply trying to enjoy your waking up in the morning, trying to enjoy keeping going. The keys that I have really integrated, the truths, the eternal truths that I truly now know, that you can't have any rigidity or dogma at all as a part of any part of your being. And that heavily applies to disciplines, being disciplined in your practice. And when you try hard to be better, you try hard to have pure victories. Sometimes you do just need to stop everything, sit in a dark room, lay in a dark room. Actually, I most prefer who I talk about with this topic. Lay down, eyes closed. No sound, no lights. If you want sound, choose something that is not frantic, something calming. And observe your body, observe your breath with your internal sight, with your eyes closed. And if a thought comes through, don't fixate, don't overthink, flow. Sometimes people just need to stop everything they're doing, and if they're able to, hopefully they're able to. I understand that most people have hectic lives or nothing at all, so they're stressed and broken. But when the occasion arises to stop and let the frantic, chaotic energies subside and dissolve, just stop everything and slow down and go within in total stillness, absence of stimulus. Paradoxically, that is what I have learned to be the number one eternal truth when it comes to accurate evolutionary disciplines. You cannot be go, go, go all the time. You cannot be forcing. You cannot be super rigid and hectic. Rigidity is hectic. Dogma is hectic. Forcing, controlling, fixating, it's all hectic. And choosing wisely is not rigid at all. It's not. Wise choices come from your generative core, your intuition, going to the mind through clarity, and it's a symbiotic relationship from left brain logic to right brain, more generative, creative, receptive intelligence, creating a holistic discipline, a holistic being within yourself. So things have been hinted at throughout the show in terms of discipline. But as I contemplated and wanted to do my first episode on discipline, I realized this formula, which I have just laid out, mainly containing the attributes and principles of care, passion, effort, focus, competence, motive, and decisive flow, wise choices, and receptivity. All of these components laid out as simply as they were intentionally, so that you could pick up the encryption, the frequency, and the unutterable knowledge which you may just be feeling at a more eternal level, and your conscious mind might not even know yet. As you go to sleep tonight, it might manifest in your behavior tomorrow. No, it's not an intrusive invasion. No, it's nothing of the sort. It's simply a component of the immutable, objective reality, which is composed of many monads of their own creations, and I happen to be an individual sharing something that I have realized is quite eternal and immutable. And those quite eternal, immutable things often are hard to know point blank and see point blank from certain perspectives that may not be quote unquote there yet. And no one is truly there yet. We're all on the path towards constant remembrance, constant evolution. No one is done. No one has all the answers. No one can tell you what you are, who you are. No one can surely tell you how to do things, the greatest in terms of self-mastery, eternal, immutable spirit, life itself. These principles of care and effort, sure, they do apply to how well you'll be at a job, how disciplined you'll be at a job, because after all, if you don't care about your job, if you don't care about your occupation, you're not in alignment, as we talked about. What's the agenda? Well, the agenda with something you don't truly care about is going to incorporate something that resembles lack and dissatisfaction. So this whole map does apply to the most mundane aspects of reality, but once it's all of these things are in total alignment with yourself, truth, and unconditional love, and you're flowing yet decisive, wise choices and receptivity, and actually focusing, actually paying attention and concentrating holistically, this opens portals unknown, yet known. It's all remembrance. And really, it's serious, life is serious. And most people listening to this show care about, sure, the answers of life. What is reality? What's the purpose of life? What am I? What is myself? All these things that are really quite wonderful and really important and vital to know and think about wherever you are in the cosmos, wherever you are, literally and ethereally. It's all one experience. Many perspectives. All paths prove valid. I do have to repeat that often. Because right now the human mind, the human heart, beings are fragmented. And people like to choose teams, they like to choose sides, and that all falls under rigidity. Choosing teams, choosing sides, choosing who's right or wrong, choosing, if I have the answers or not. That is not choosing wisely. I do hate to be Mr. Hey, look, everything's paradoxical. Hey, look, no one knows everything, but you can know a lot, and you should know as much as you can, and you should feel as much as you can with purity. I hate to be that all the time. But the funny thing is, it is what must be done. And doing what must be done is really neutral. Everybody on their own paths must do what must be done, in accordance to their eternal self. So, itinerary as of now for Monad of Creation. This is episode 22, right? We're looking at, going forward, some really interesting topics. And I would like to encourage everyone just to not take things so seriously. I don't know if you've realized, but all human history, surely recorded human history, no one has had all the answers. Jesus didn't. Buddha didn't. Einstein didn't. Darwin didn't. Literally anyone who has had prominence did not. And those who were unseen, unheard, also did not have all the answers. No human incarnate, for a long time at least, as far as I can tell, has not had all the answers, or anywhere close to 100% purity in what they do know. 100% purity in what they do know and feel. 100% purity, zero muck. I would like to remind everybody that, hey, all I'm saying is no one is perfect. It's pretty great, but also pretty disgusting that there can't be absolute purity. And that, if you want my subjective, candid take, that is what motivates me. Striving for that pure essence that I will never know, and treating life not seriously at all, yet viscerally, experientially, beautifully, candidly, truthfully, in alignment with truth and my eternal self. So pay attention to the Instagram and the Telegram. If you really value what's happening here, check out the Patreon if you want to support what's happening here. PayPal link if you want to support what's happening here, everywhere, at every moment. And the clarity calls are still going. I haven't got many. And like I said on the Instagram, that is my level of deep work I do with people. If they have questions that the podcast is not really clicking and they're not handling it on their own, they can do a Calendly booking and we can chat one-on-one, And I really have disdain and disgust towards these one-on-one type mentorships, gurus, and guides out there, but it is nothing like that. I just will hold space and be totally honest and offer this perspective which you now know and feel. So Patreon, Instagram, Telegram, Calendly, PayPal, if you want to support and check out further. Special thanks to all who know. They truly help me. I really appreciate everyone who's come across my path. And you know what? That's something I didn't talk about. And within discipline, we often want to do everything on our own. I really hope everyone made it this far, because you cannot do everything 100% on your own within a human body, because it is a co-creation. It's a beautiful co-creation made up of individuated beings, and you can do a lot on your own, and you can do what truly matters on your own. You have to do what truly matters on your own. You can only do what truly matters on your own, but the supplemental help, the supplemental perspectives can help and aid you and assist you along your path, but it's not a crutch. It's not a savior. No saviors, no crutches, no religion, no dogma, no vices, no addiction. Respect yourself, check yourself, enjoy yourself. I unconditionally love you. Hails.